Come to a position at the top of your mat, feet about hip width. And maybe you invite some movement into your body, into your wrists, and into your hips, allowing your feet to really root into the mat. And with our breath, we're going to do a few arm circles. Arms open wide, circling through, palms to palm, exhaling through heart center, inviting our airways to open up. And again, when you're ready, with an inhale, circling through, arms open wide, exhaling, palm to palm, really feeling that connection. And at your own pace, with an inhale, circling through, one more time, feeling that palm to palm connection, and really honing into our presence on the mat here. Next time we inhale, opening up, we're going to plant our hands for a little forward fold action. Knees may bend if you need. Inhale it halfway. Exhale into a fold in a comfortable place where you can linger here for just a moment, letting gravity do its work, finding a little length into that spine. And when you're ready, we're going to keep our legs as stiff as possible while walking it back into down dog. This is called the elephant walk. It causes us to wiggle our thoracic spine a little bit, giving it a bit of articulation, which can be tricky to do otherwise. And when you're ready, we're going to walk it forward again, inhaling into a half fold, and exhaling back into a forward fold. And we're going to walk it back and forth a few times, really allowing our legs to warm up, our posterior body to stretch as we linger in down dog. And move at your own pace. Inhaling in that halfway fold, exhaling into Uttanasana, and walking it back and finding that breath or two in down dog. Maybe you notice your heels getting closer in down dog as we walk it back and forth and those legs start to really warm up. Then next time we walk it back, we're going to hang out in down dog and breathe here for a moment. Keeping that push into the mat with our palms. Arms are strong, legs are strong, and we're going to prepare to move through our Vinyasa as we continue. And find your rhythm, exhaling into Chaturanga, inhaling into Cobra. Palms are strong into the mat, pushing off with your toes, hinging at the hips into down dog. Neck is loose. Walk it forward in our elephant walk, coming to the hands once more. Inhale halfway, exhale, fold. Rise into the mountain, stand tall, spine is long. We're going to circle our arms open wide again, moving through heart center. Inviting that energy. Inhale, opening wide, fold forward. Inhale halfway, we're going to walk it back into our elephant walk, finding a pause in down dog, rising into our first three-legged dog of our practice. I'm going to extend my right first, and stepping it all the way up and between our hands and preparing for our first warrior. Rising into warrior one, finding length, reaching up tall, and maybe you want to try cactus arms. Do what works for you. Plant your hands when you're ready, sweeping that foot back into down dog. Inhale, chaturanga. Rise into cobra. Plant it into down dog. Neck is loose. Back into three-legged, extending our left next, or your opposite leg. And stepping it up in between our hands if you can. You can scooch it with your toes if you need. Rising into warrior one, spine is long, navel to spine is strong. And when you're ready, plant your hands and scoot that foot back into down dog. And preparing to move through our vinyasa once more. Exhaling, chaturanga. Inhaling, up dog. Preparing to plant our toes and move it through down dog. And walking it forward into elephant walk all the way to our hands. Inhale, halfway, rise into the mountain. Spine is long, circling our arms tall, hands through heart center. Opening wide again, preparing to plant. Fold. Rising halfway, exhaling and walking it back with our elephant walk, back into down dog. Breathe here. And as you feel ready, we're going to prepare to move through our warrior sequence, extending that right foot into the sky and bringing it up in between our hands into warrior one. And root here, finding yourself tall, rooting your feet into the mat as we prepare to open our hips into warrior two. And breathe here. And as we exit, we're going to move back through warrior one, shifting our hips back forward, planting our hands to exit into down dog, scooting that foot back. Neck is loose, arms are strong, rock it forward into chaturanga, inhale into cobra, exiting into down dog when you're ready, finding your pace, finding your flow. And on the other side, extending that right foot, preparing to find warrior one on the opposite side. Reaching tall, spine is long. And at your own pace, opening our hips into our warrior two. Rooting here and finding ease amidst the fire. And rotate through warrior one as we prepare to exit into our vinyasa, planting the hands, bringing it back into down dog. And we're going to move through our vinyasa, exhaling into chaturanga, inhaling into cobra, tucking our toes, hinging at the hips, bringing it back into downward facing dog. Neck is loose, arms are strong, and at your own pace, we're going to elephant walk it forward all the way up to our hands. Inhale, halfway, exhale, fold. Inhale all the way into mountain, bringing those arms into a big open circle. Hands palm to palm, exhaling through heart center. And as you prepare to inhale, circling wide, meeting palm to palm, exiting through heart center once more. Really honing in on that connection with self. And again, inhale, exhale, heart space. Inhaling Preparing our hands to plant into forward fold. Inhaling halfway. Exhaling, fold, walking it back in our elephant walk. Finding our downward facing dog. Arms are strong, neck is loose. And let's prepare to move through our warrior sequence once more, extending that right to the sky and bringing that foot all the way up in between our hands to find our warrior one, Virabhadrasana. Rising tall, feeling that mat foot connection, and preparing to shift, really rooting into that mat as we open our hips into warrior two. And next, finding our reverse warrior, inviting that front arm to reach tall, but rather than focusing on bending, let's focus on opening the ribs of the front body as we inhale. And as you're ready to exit, finding warrior one, finding that body back forward before we plant our hands and exit into our down dog. Sweeping that foot back and preparing for the other side, bringing that opposite leg to the sky, stepping it up in between our hands, rising into our Virabhadrasana one, reaching tall, spine is long. And as you feel rooted and ready, we're going to open our hips into our warrior two pose. Arms are long, and as you're ready, we're going to find that reverse warrior on the opposite side, reaching that forward arm upward, opening those ribs in the front body. And as you prepare to exit, shifting through warrior one, bringing those hips back center before we plant our hands and exit into our down dog. And at your own pace, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Planting the toes and preparing to exit into down dog. And prepare to elephant walk it forward, bringing our feet towards our hands once more. Inhale halfway and exhale and walk it back into down dog. And one more time, forward to our hands. Inhale halfway, exhaling, and this time we're going to rise into chair pose. And if you'd like a little extra, we're going to take our left hand down to the right side of our mat and back up, and our right hand down to the left side of our mat and back up. And again, left to right and rise, and right to left and rise, and down to our forward fold. Inhale halfway, exhale back into chair, and find our way into mountain, loosing our right foot, finding a bend, and sweeping it all the way back into our warrior three pose. And as we prepare to exit, sweeping that knee back through center, back forward, and finding rest in our mountain pose, going tall with our arms. And when you're ready, loosing that opposite foot, knee forward, sweeping it back into our warrior three, staying rooted, breathing here until we need to exit, sweeping that knee through center, and forward before we rest in mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Rise back into chair. Arms tall, and then we're going to bring them down, meeting the earth. And then rising back up, finding length in chair. And back down. Touching the earth before we rise again. Back to the earth. Rising, arms tall. Loosing that right knee forward and sweeping it back into warrior 3. And as you prepare to exit, soften your grounding leg and meet that back foot to the earth and land it in warrior 1. And breathe here before we return, bringing that knee back forward into a standing position before planting it and exhaling into forward fold. Inhale halfway and rise into chair. Exhale, let those hands touch the earth. Arms back tall in chair. Hands to the earth again. Rise back up. We're working our back here. Hands back to the earth. And loosing that opposite foot as we rise back into our standing balance. Sweep it back into warrior 3. And stay rooted as you prepare to land back into warrior 1. Spine is long, legs are strong, and find your rooting before we shift back, sweeping that knee forward before we plant both feet back on our mat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale halfway and walk it back in elephant walk. We've done a lot of lower back work here. Let's wiggle it out a bit. And walk it forward at your own pace. Bringing those feet to the hands once more. Inhale halfway. Exhale, walk it back. Prepare to find our 3-legged dog, loosing our right foot and stepping it forward. But this time we're going to keep our left hand to the mat and our right hand following the line of our body as we bring our gaze upward into side angle pose. As we prepare to exit, we're going to bring that hand back to the earth, straightening our front leg. You may remain here, or I invite you to try and rise that front foot. It asks a tight compression of that core. I like to do it on a strong exhale. And again, with the breath, and sweep it back into 3-legged dog, down into chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, and back into down dog. And prepare for the opposite side. Finding 3-legged dog, rising that left, bringing it forward. This time taking that left arm with a line of the body, gazes upward. Preparing to exit, bringing that left hand back to the earth. Straightening that front leg, remaining here if you choose, or finding that rise of the toes. Strong exhale. And on your next rise, sweep it back into 3-legged dog. Descend into chaturanga. Inhale into cobra. And as you're ready, exhale into down dog. And we're going to prepare to elephant walk our feet back to our hands. Inhaling halfway, exhaling fold. Coming back up into chair, finding length as we reach tall in our seated posture. Hands back through heart center. As we descend back into a fold, planting our hands, we're going to elephant walk it back again. This time, planting our left foot as we take our right and step it up on the outside of our right hand. Keeping that right hand planted, we're going to take our left hand to our right foot and find extension into flying warrior. Release your foot and descend when you need to exit. And plant the left hand. And when you're ready, plant your right hand back in the mat and exit through down dog. Exiting into chaturanga, inhaling into cobra, exhaling into downward facing dog, finding three-legged on the opposite side and stepping that left foot the outside of our left hand, right arm to left foot before we find extension into our flying warrior. Allowing that foot to meet the earth. And bring that right hand to the mat, bringing that left hand back to the sky, finding our way through down dog, exhaling into chaturanga, inhaling into cobra, and exhaling into down dog, and bringing our knees forward into tabletop before bringing our hips back into a seated position and allowing our arms to circle through heart center. On your next inhale, find length and exhale, and find a twist to one side. And you may remain here with a pause, or inhale forward, hands through heart center. And on the next exhale, rotating through the other side. And when you're ready, inhale back center. Plant your palms and plant your feet and find your way into down dog, walking it forward once more, feet hip width, and bend your knees enough so that your ribs may meet your thighs and interlace your arms. Welcome to ragdoll pose. If you feel rooted, you may rock forward and back or side to side. The idea is to be fully supported here. Linger here as long as you wish. As we prepare to move forward, we're going to invite a bend into our knees as we bring our hips down and take a seat in Malasana, bringing our knees to the inside of our elbows. And as we push out with our elbows, we are also pushing in with our knees. And if you like a little more, we can take that right arm and push back against that inner squeeze of the right thigh, inviting a bit more work there. And taking that left arm and pushing back against the adduction of the left thigh. And as you're ready, we're going to work our way down to a seated position, feet together. Welcome to butterfly. Our feet should be strongly pushing together. Knees do not have to touch the mat. You may root steady, or you may flutter those butterfly wings if you wish, allowing those hips to open. Our adductors and our legs are still working. Spine is long. And this is inviting a nice rotation of the femurs and that hip socket as we cool off from all that leg work here. And linger here as long as you wish. Some people enjoy this posture more than others. I find after a leg practice, I greatly enjoy the open it invites in the hips and the rooting aspect. And then we're going to make our way into a laying position, bringing our knees into our chest and wrapping tight around them. And if you wish, rocking from side to side, allowing the mat to massage our lower back and our nerves, helping to activate our parasympathetic nervous system and ground us. And as you're ready, we're going to plant our feet to the outside of our mat. Arms out wide. You may do cactus arms if you like. Cycling with our breath, inhaling center, exhaling neck to the left, knees to the right. Inhaling center when you need, neck to the right, knees to the left. Opposites. Inhaling center at your pace. Head to the left, knees to the right. Inhaling center. And just find your rhythm here. Finding a little pace with the inhale and the exhale that works for the rhythm of what your body needs. And maybe you linger on the rotation, or maybe you keep it short. Next, we're going to take our right knee to our chest, inviting a nice stretch into that hammy glute area. If you'd like to deepen this, you can go into half lotus and grab the thigh of the opposite leg and really invite a nice deep stretch into that posterior body. Keep it comfortable. There is no push. And as you're ready, release and find that left knee to the chest. And if you find you'd like more, find that half lotus and grab the thigh of your opposite leg and invite that stretch to go deeper if you're feeling it. And release when you need. Next, we're going to bring our knees inward, grabbing our heels and letting those knees really sink in and those femurs rotate open as we find our way into happy baby pose. And just inviting this stretch here for a moment. And when you're ready to exit, we're going to bring both knees back in towards the chest, maybe wrapping our arms around them. And we're going to make our way into our final Shavasana, finding our legs long, reaching our arms up, allowing our scapula to rise up off the floor before we allow our elbows to fall back down with gravity and meet the earth wherever they may land. And become aware of your left hand, left fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Left lower arm, upper arm, left shoulder, your left chest. Become aware of your left hip, thigh, left knee, shin. Become aware of your left foot and toes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Become aware of your right hand, right fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right lower arm, upper arm, right shoulder. Become aware of your right chest, right hip, right thigh, knee, right shin. Become aware of your right foot and toes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Feel the top of the body light. Feel the back of the body rooted, heavy. Feel the body as a whole with your attention on your breath. Remain here as long as you wish in our final resting pose. Namaste.